Our group is going to present about a text that is called Gossip as Cultural Learning. Order of the presentation: Introduction, Theories and Perspective, Cultural Animal Approach, Need for Gossip in Learning, Why Gossip, Study, and Conclusions. The text supports that gossip has beneficial functions. In first place, the author states that gossip serves to help people to learn how to live in their cultural society, because anecdotes communicate rules and useful information about how society and culture works. Another function of gossip is observational learning, which consists of learning from truths and difficulties from other people beyond one's immediate perceptual sphere. That is, that we don't have to know that person to learn from his experience. Gossip is also a great tool because it facilitates the wide transmission of these lessons. In this text, the author highlights the great opportunities of gossip, but he is aware of the risks and problems that gossip may contain. Theories and perspectives. The traditional and prevailing view has referred to gossip as an indirect form of aggression, which motivation is a malicious desire to harm others by damaging their reputation, and which goal is to encourage people to have a bad opinion of that person. However, the author of this article states that defamation may not be the primary goal and may even be irrelevant. That's why, if gossip lacks this dimension, then defamation cannot be the only purpose of gossip. To review some theories about gossips, in first place, Dunbar research found that gossip is an important form of social communication that serves to bond people together by sharing information about themselves or about others in their social community. There are two functions of gossip in social relationships. The first one is that gossip strengthens the bond between teller and hearer while they spend time in conversation together and share information of mutual interest. The second one is that information may be useful to the hearer for learning about the target person, and this may help the hearer to keep that relationship more effectively due to the gain of information. Another theory was presented by Yerkovich, which stated that gossip served for transmission of information to others, for social influence, and for entertainment. Sabine and Silver also presented a theory where they highlight that gossip essentially involves codes of conduct, social norms, and moral rules in concrete stories. However, the author of the text goes further than these theories in the analysis and states that gossip also serves as observational learning of a cultural kind, because by hearing about the misadventures of others, we may successfully avoid making the same mistakes that someone else made.
In the article, the authors define culture as an information-based system that organizes social interactions and helps people to feel basic social and biological needs. They talk about the importance of culture and socialization in our behavior, because many times we behave according to the norms that everyone follows. Gossip is presented as a way to learn these norms. When a person listens to others, approving or criticizing someone else's behavior, he learns the things that are well or not so well seen by others. Gossip is understood as talking about someone that is not present, regardless of what is being said. A person can learn from the behavior of others, whether it's something good or bad. The thing is that we tend to see as more useful or informative the stories of others who violate the rules. According to the evolutionary perspective, it is more adaptive to learn about dangers than opportunities. That is why we tend to gossip about the bad actions that others have done.
Regarding the cultural animal approach, the authors also state that as in our culture men and women have different roles assigned, they also tend to gossip about different things, because they need to learn different rules. Some studies show evidence that men gossip more about celebrities, sport figures, or politicians, while women tend to do it more about close people like friends or family members.
Gossip can be seen in six main factors of learning. First, it helps us to learn about the world before experiencing it firsthand. Gossip is a tool that children use as a way of learning about the world. Actually, Gary Fine showed that children start to gossip almost as soon as they can talk and see the importance of other people. For example, when it comes to teaching a child to avoid the dangers of motorized traffic, the best way to teach them is by telling them a story about some other child who played in the street and was run over by a car and could never walk again or never saw his parents again. The story has to produce a positive effect in children that helps them survive to adulthood. In this way, gossip is knowledge, it is good, and it constitutes a form of social information that use narratives to communicate rules. Some great examples of these are Jesus' parables and Buddha's stories. Also, gossip helps to learn the local culture's implicit rules and regulations. Contrary to the idea of gossip as either useless or mean, people usually use gossip to communicate useful information with the purpose of use that information to control and understand their own lives. And the third way that we can use gossip is to learn the rules as well as the sanctions for breaking the rules within a culture. Well, remember that gossip are cultural, both in terms of the content of the information and in terms of the consequences of the information. So this can be seen in corporations or other institutions who has its own cultural values and rules, because some employees use gossip to learn the rules about their new institution and what topics not to mention in front of their boss or things like that. Moreover, gossip helps to learn rules as to what one should versus should not do in interpersonal relationships. This implies rules and expectations. So, for example, someone can learn do not date more than one guy at a time after hearing negative comments made about a girl who had multiple boyfriends at once. Also, it can function as a way of making policy. For example, in Hopi Indian culture, gossip served a primary role as information management, with conflicts, debates, or trials. And finally, gossip are a form of social control. Gossip serves as a group-level adaptation to individuals' misdeed, which means gossip can be used as a method of regulating members' behaviors, especially those that reflect pursuits of selfish interest that come at a cost to the community.
Gossip is not mere storytelling. It is a collaborative experience because it boosts effectiveness in social learning. Gossip goes beyond, since it lets people hear from situations where they were not even present. Also, gossip allows the listener to comment and share their opinions, and it creates stronger relationships between the teller and the listener. To answer the question of why do we gossip, we can say that the reasons of the teller and the listener are different. The investigators say that we like listening to gossip for three main reasons. The first one is that it is important to know the rules of the society we live in. The second one is that the listener just enjoys hearing about others and about others' misfortunes. Finally, because it contains personally relevant information, the listener might identify with the person that is being talked about and learn important things. On the other hand, the teller has two main reasons to gossip. The first one is that they might just want to pass some useful information that they learn to his friends or his family. And the second reason is that they might elevate their social status because they indicate that they know the rules of how something works.
Now then, referring to the present study, but Mr. Hoover and Chang tried to understand the real impacts of this theory in today's now life. They took a sample of undergraduate psychology students of an introductory class. So to summarize briefly, the theory that they mostly based on was gossip as a type of aggression, as a type of theory they wanted to nullify due to its indirect causes of aggression. Second one, gossip is a low cause of social control. This one they wanted to confirm. Third, learning social norms, which relates to social control. They also wanted to confirm this background theory. And fourth, a key part of society, they wanted to describe, not to confirm or nullify this background theory. They took the students, they hand them out two tests. The first one, it referred only to the best gossip, the best piece of gossip they've heard in the last weekend, month, or year. And the second one was kind of like exploring a little bit deeper into this gossip. So I divided it in three sections. The first one could be the person involved and its motives to do the gossip, and the target of the gossip and the amount of people that the gossip was told. In this way, they could learn how many times the gossip was passed on and to whom it was passed on the gossip. In the section 2, the emotional tone referred to how the listener felt about listening to this gossip, and they had quite an extensive category of emotions between positives and negatives. Including this one, they wanted to also know how the emotions reflected upon the target, if the emotions were good, if the emotions were bad upon the target, which kind of relates to the aggression background theory. The third section refers to the life relevance and personal relevance, because they wanted to know, referring to the background learning social norms and key part of society, how this information specifically impact their lives. What they actually found is that the aggression background theory can be nullified due to it does not specifically has an attempt to discredit or attack the gossip target. Rather, it as my partners have been said, it tries to have an emotional impact, so it could be last long remembered. It also tries to separate between norms that help people in the personal life or give them information. In this way, if it helped me in personal life, I could actually go and make a specific task thanks to the gossip information. But if it does not, if this gossip only gives me information, I can only remember it and be a little bit more informed about my own culture. It is a cheap way and effective way to control persons, not control persons in that specific way, but control actions of the person. For example, think about birth. Birth is controlled when girls are told that they shouldn't have more than 2 boyfriends. It draws from strangers' experiences, which actually can make the person feel more part of a group. So in this way, it confirms the background theory that it strengthens bonds. Furthermore, going onto the discussion, the learning that gossip allows is not just about information of people. It's also about specific tasks related. For example, I remember that when I had a DS, the first Nintendo console that I've ever had, I learned how to cheat some games thanks to gossip. So I would hear from my friends, you should do this, you should buy this, and in this way I gained a specific task information, and I had a lot of fun actually. Second, opening the discussion, is the instrumentalization of knowledge. In this way, as the example of the little kid, the kid won't cross the street without looking left and right, which is actually very useful. Now, to our audience, we want to ask you: do you still think gossip is bad? Do you still think gossip needs to be banned from common daily talk, or it could be actually useful? It could be actually some recurring topic upon any situation. And second, what lessons do you still have in life that you've learned from gossip? In my case, the DS Nintendo games was my main lesson that I learned from gossip. Thank you very much.